Welcome back to the final match in the round of 8 of the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai. It is a crazy day of games once again. Some 3-0s mixed in there that I was not really expecting today. A very close series between Hero and Innovation, but this last series, I think, is what most people have been most excited about. The current reigning BlizzCon World Champion ByuN going up against the god of second place, soO.
I want to say we saved best for last, but Hero against Innovation was still pretty damn good, but ByuN against soO is going to be incredible. We've got a Zerg going up against the race of Reapers, and it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, if there's any series I thought was going to go to a 5-game series today, it has to be this one, because ByuN has been playing great lately, outside of his kind of hiccup the other day in the first match against Maru. And then soO is soO, right? I mean, when hasn't he been playing well?
Yeah, well, in the finals, but other than that, you're totally right, Wardy. I mean, he's been on fire, but will he be able to take out ByuN here? Is it like, is this just the way that StarCraft is now, that soO is completely unbeatable by anyone until that finals?
I hope for ByuN he's not thinking that, because otherwise he's already defeated mentally. I don't think it applies, you know. I think ByuN definitely can take out soO. He's shown how strong he can be against Zerg, and it's definitely time here to prove that once again. Okay. And I really feel like ByuN has a good chance here to take that tournament to the finals or even all the way if he's on his A game, but that's the key, being on his A game here.
Is he on his A game, Wardy?
Yeah, I think he is, especially in TVZ. It's the matchup he's comfortable in, it's the matchup he likes to play. He gets to play with Reapers in normal games. That's the meta game right now. He's crazy, man. There's nothing beating him. But the other thing as well is, I think, soO has shown some weakness in ZvT as of late. He lost that GSL finals to Gumiho.
Okay, yeah.
Also lost a VSL final to Innovation 04.
Yeah,
if you watch soO on that day, you remove the nameplates on those players, you think Innovation is just stomping some Master League play on the ladder. It wasn't even close.
Well, it was the finals. I want to give soO some wiggle room there. Todd, what are you thinking about this match? Like, did you give ByuN another pep talk? Because he really credited you for that victory against Maru.
I didn't feel like he needed one yet, you know. I'm quite confident he's going to do well against soO. No, come on. Like, he doesn't need me for this one. I'll save it for, like, you know, the semis or the finals. If I give one per game, then it doesn't work anymore, right? There's no magic about it, right?
Oh, okay.
You don't want to overdo something that's good. You want to preserve it for when it's needed the most.
Okay, I've got that. I understand that. I mean, looking at the actual matchup of Terran versus Zerg right now, ByuN is not a mech player. Let's get that out of the way. He does not go mech. If he goes mech here, I will eat Apollo's hat. It's not going to happen.
If he goes mech, I will buy you a new shirt so you can get rid of that terrible mustard shirt you wear at every show.
I thought you loved me in this shirt.
I love you, but not that shirt. Not at all.
No, but he doesn't go mech, right? So that brings him back to the bio style. He's very aggressive overall and stuff. But the new Zerg style against Terran bio at least, Lingbane Hydra. And I feel like that might be a roadblock here for ByuN. If he doesn't kill him with Reapers early on, that Lingbane Hydra is going to be very hard to kill if you're not hitting something like a very sharp Siege timing attack, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. The key is going to be in doing the damage beforehand and propelling himself into the mid-game from a leading position. But even past that, like, it's definitely not an unbeatable army to go for Lingbane Hydra, and especially somebody like ByuN that's good at being aggressive all the time. I would say the early game is going to be like more important than ever, because if so's able to get away with like good defenses on everything and then starts getting Lingbane Hydra, then it becomes so much easier to defend, just because you have way more than usual, the cruise spread's going great and all that. So early game super important, especially in this case if ByuN was to go for those Reapers that he's so fond of.
I definitely do agree with you on that. Anything to add there, Wardy, as far as what is going to be important for these guys through the game?
Yeah, I actually think the Lingbane Hydra may be a bit of a weakness for ByuN here, because it's that sort of composition that plays well against the guy who just never stops attacking, you know? It's a little bit stronger than certain comps because it's low tech, and you get a lot of it. And that's not what ByuN likes to play against. He likes to attack here, there, and absolutely everywhere. So that might be difficult if it's what so's playing.
Okay, so predictions now. Todd.
Oh my God.
What do you think? Who actually ends up winning?
Why don't you go first?
Well, because I want to wait and make sure you guys don't copy me, because I'm always
right.
I
want to take the opposite of you, so why don't you predict?
Well, you go ahead and tell me why you think ByuN's going to win, then I'll tell you why soO is going to win.
I think ByuN is going to win because he's one of my favorite players. He's an amazing player, and when he has enough confidence and he's on his A game, there is barely anybody in the world that can beat him, and that includes this man here, soO. And I think today he will be there mentally and crush this guy.
Okay. Wardy, how about you? Do you agree with this assessment? He's going to win because he's one of Todd's favorite players?
Yeah, I mean, I always pick Todd's favorite players. You know? I mean, what else can I say? Todd summed it up. Yeah, ByuN's one of my favorite players as well, but honestly, I think he's just got this matchup in the bag. I think he knows what he can play against. I think he's confident going into it, though, and I think he'll smash soO.
Okay, wow, that's a very strong statement right there. And Wardy, I thought you were doing so well in the last match on the desk, saying that Rogue would take it 3-1. But I gotta say, I am feeling soO here, guys. I think he's gonna take down ByuN 3-1.
Get cursed, rip.
3-2 at worst because of Reapers specifically, but that Hydra Ling Bane is gonna be too much for ByuN to handle, in my opinion. But
nobody asked you, you're the host.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because I am the host, so I get to ask myself. All right, that is all we have to say. It is time now to start the last match of the day, ByuN against soO.
I think it's not surprising to see soO come through his group because he is arguably the best Zerg in the world right now. I'm very, very happy to see it as a fan of soO myself. And he's had so many second places in the best and the most elite tournaments in the whole world. I'm really expecting him to probably make it to the final again here in Shanghai. And I mean, I really hope for his sake it's not another second place.
Numbers advantage right here, but as the reinforcements get out for soO, he might just barely have enough the numbers to hang on.
This looks a lot better.
soO's always been one of the very best Zergs in the world, and he's really been chasing a championship for a long time since his last victory. So hopefully he can overcome his finals curse this time around. It'd be really awesome to see him actually being able to come to Weekend Defend and actually being able to live up to the hype that everyone knows he can perform to.
ByuN, you know, he's a player who wears his emotion on his sleeve. He's a player who often I think we all like to cheer for because he just kind of comes through. You can see his emotion when he's playing. He's not as clean and perfect as the other players.
With a few Marines inside it, but at the same time, this is going to be pushed on as well here. ByuN dwarfing his opponent in supply right now and killing off tons of SCVs. GG, ByuN takes the map.
He always just finds a way to bring it out. He's very flashy, very cool, and you can always see how much it means to him every time he wins a game. So it's very cool to see him win today and make it out of the group.
All right, guys, it is time. Pig and myself, Maynard, are going to be bringing you another sick TVZ in the round of 8 to finish things off for our last best of 5 for the day. The world champion ByuN against the several-time GSL finalist soO. Who comes on top? Let's introduce the players in the bottom right here. The Zerg hopeful. This is soO.
The most dominating Zerg player this year in 2017. Looking to take a championship here, but he will be facing off, of course, against the BlizzCon champion from 2016. The blue Terran in the top left, it is ByuN.
I said it in my interview there. I'm such a huge fan of soO and such a huge fan of ByuN. I just cannot wait to see how this one goes through. We've had some series that have been one-sided. We've seen some series go down to the wire as well. I feel like this one's going to be very action-packed, very bloodthirsty, lots of micro, lots of aggression.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait. And we are seeing, speaking of micro, speaking of aggression, 3 Racks Reaper is coming out of ByuN here.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be mass Reaper time. And, man, I still remember like a month or 2 ago when this started coming back. And the first time I saw someone add on the 4th and 5th barracks and then keep building Reapers. And I just lost my mind. I was like, is this happening? Is this actually something you can do? And since then, we've seen people do it even on maps where Reapers aren't good. There's like no ledges, there's no advantage for Reapers, and yet it is still being made to work if the Terran player micros just perfectly, and that is exactly what ByuN's going to be aiming to do here.
There is one player in the whole world that makes this look as broken as people seem to think it is. And it's just, this is ByuN, the guy that has really popularized this style. He's made it look so incredibly hard to stop because of how perfect his mines have been. The KD8 grenades from these Reapers, and juggling the Lings, keeping them alive, saving those charges perfectly. And will he do it again? soO, of course, every Zerg on the higher end of Korean ladder, and really every ladder now, this meta is on every ladder, has faced this so many times, though. Zergs have had such a long time and so many games to practice against this. I'm sure that he'll have a plan in store here. And to start things off with, it is a lot of Lings.
And he gets his first warning that this is 3x Reaper. His Overlord just spotted the second Reaper coming across whilst he's microing here. We don't see a Roach Warren on the way or any extra Zerglings just yet. Looks like he might just go for the Ling Queen response against this. That definitely can work out for the Zerg player. You just need to micro exceptionally well.
You do indeed, and of course it's a little bit more vulnerable to the KDA grenades as well when you go for that Mass Link style. One Reaper getting very, very low, but of course this is ByuN we're talking about. He pulls it back, it does heal up, it lives for now. He's circumnavigating the natural here, trying to get to the main, using the step here on the left-hand side of Odyssey. And soO's not letting him get anywhere near that drone line, Pig.
Yeah, those Reapers just being forced to rotate left and right here. An Evolution Chamber is on the way for soO. That's going to allow him to get some upgrades on the way. Probably a fast carapace if I had to guess. The Reaper's going to go in there. Nice little trick there with the Spore Crawler. Zergling's coming in, trying to get us around. Some nice grenades so far. The Reapers slip on out of there.
They do indeed. One of them does go down. The rest of them are still alive. ByuN not finding critical damage, but he's engaging relatively well with his Lings. Losing a Reaper kind of sucks, actually. Really, you have to keep them all alive. A counterattack is very, very threatening. Anytime you try to transition, it's such a delicate precipice that you have to balance here. When do I start getting those reactors? When do I start getting those tech labs? And with the spawn location of ByuN as well, he has to put those additions on the barracks on the outside of his wall in, which leaves them vulnerable to Zerglings.
I love this latest evolution of this style, where Zerg players used to, when they sneak the Zerglings out, the Terran would feel forced to go home. These days, the Terran's happy to simply rally his reinforcements at home and then keep his Reapers somewhere near a ledge where they can easily jump to safety. But they're still close enough so that if the opponent goes for a fast third, they can run in and snipe that down. And that's exactly what we're seeing him potentially go for. The third does go down. Luckily for ByuN, he does back off those Zerglings, hunting through the hedge. They are going to find the Reapers, but the Reapers will escape to that high ground for now.
Yeah, ByuN never overextending here with the Reapers. He is ready on that high ground. He's got some Reapers at home. They aren't joining their Reaper brethren up here and beefing up this attack. They're at home, keeping the wall safe from a run by or a potential counterattack. Again, very, very threatening. One Reaper coming down this little drop in here. We see the drop overlord slowly moving in through the darkness, trying to circumnavigate that supply depot of ByuN. soO is going to try and ferry Lings into the main and kill SCVs and maybe catch some production of ByuN.
This could work out very well for soO. ByuN, at the moment, he's grouping up. He wants to cancel that third base. If he can get that, that'll be a big win for him. But he's going to have to defend his mineral line at the same time.
The Lings are coming in, and ByuN did have some units at home. And they're going to need to come up and clean this up here because he's in a little bit of trouble. SCV's coming up the line, losing 3 of them so far to the Lings. Not bad damage here for soO if he gets to keep a lot of these Lings alive. Meanwhile, his third hatchery looks like it's going to go up as well.
Really nice play from soO here, deflecting this. However, we have to remember, look at that worker count. ByuN on equal workers with soO right now. ByuN's also dropping mules. He's also going up to medevacs. This is overall better tech for ByuN right now. soO, though, has a much bigger army. ByuN really needs to avoid letting him get any value out of that army. That means not rushing into any headstrong fights. He needs to be patient. He needs to just defend, pressure, and not let soO smash his army. If he just throws those Reapers away, suddenly soO will have absolute map dominance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If he just makes all this minerals and all the supply of Zerglings that aren't drones useless, then that's a win. That's damage for ByuN there. And of course, the game does continue. He's got a lot more Reapers heading across the map. Looks like they got their sights set on that third hatchery, Pig.
He's going to go in with it. This is, of course, something he's got to be very careful with. He has so many Reapers, though. Ooh, really nice grenade to start things out. Already heavily bruising those Zerglings. Big pack is coming home from the other side of the map. And there's going to be 2 medevacs joining up. Medevac Reaper here is just doing big damage, sniping down so many of these Zerglings. The Zerglings going to flank in from behind this. One medevac has fallen. Are the grenades good? They are. The Zerglings forced to back off. ByuN taking a nice little trade.
Yeah, losing one of the medevac does suck a little bit for ByuN, but the Reapers are all still alive, and these Lings are not high enough in count to beat these Reapers, especially when they're ByuN Reapers. soO's changing things up, +1 attack nearly done for the Lings, and he's getting a Baneling Nest as well as a lair back at home. So he's going to try and connect with these Reapers, and also the Baneling's going to be handy for the Stim Marine follow-up, which is, of course, on the way, the next part of the plan for ByuN. Grenades coming down, keeping the Reapers alive once more.
It's actually crazy just how late those grenades can go down and still be a huge reason for soO to pull back, because if he clumps up on them, he will eat massive damage, and that's when the Zerglings just end up bouncing around. At the moment, we've got a Widowmine drop going into the third base at the same time as these Reapers hit the main. Spore Crawler is in position, but there's nothing to take him down.
14 drones have died somehow, Pig. That's a ton of damage to the economy of soO, which already isn't that great here. ByuN up 3 workers.
Oh man, he's just not losing enough. soO needs a chance to trade. He needs to be able to take these units out. And ByuN is just not giving him that opportunity. These Zerglings, so many of them being produced. 1-1 is finished for the Ling, so the upgrades are looking really healthy for soO, but his economy is down in the dumps and he just can't get rid of this pressure.
There's no way he'll ever be able to get a fourth base and get into that tier 2 mass units until he gets rid of these Reapers. He's going to try and get up into Hydra tech, which will be fantastic. Of course, the Hydras won't have attack upgrade, but they will have Carapace, and they will be on the menu here for soO. It's been such a strong style in ZvT, and very, very effective against Bio in general. These grenades from ByuN are insane. Oh, so low though. Get out of there, ByuN. And he does boost away on the edge of creep. The Queen nearly picking it off, but not quite.
And things will settle down for a moment here. soO trying desperately to re-drone. He has made it up to 60 workers. He's got the Hydra upgrade on the way. It is going to be a Hydra, Zergling, Baneling, a very strong defensive style, allowing Zergs to get up to that Hive Tech safely. ByuN, time for him to start pushing out now. Medevacs, Marines, Widow Mines coming out across the map, timing out with Stim, and the 1-1 upgrade's about to finish. He has a 4th and 5th barracks on the way at home. His 3rd command center is landed. ByuN up in overall supply right now, way up in army supply, and it looks like he's going to use the Reapers on one side, the Marines and Widow Mines on the other.
And these Reapers and Marines are about to be 1-1 upgraded. They don't have combat shield for the Marines, but they do have Stim, Medevac support, and Widow Mines. It's still very, very scary. They can engage this army of soO, even on creep if controlled well, and this guy will often control quite well. And he comes, he's very, very deep here, the grenades! Oh, messing with the Banelings here! They get nowhere near the Bio, and ByuN continuing the pressure.
The Reapers have gone down now, so it is just pure Marines here. Going deep is ByuN. He really wants to get so much damage. Trying to bait these Banelings forward. Great control, but there's a lot of Ling Bane there, and finally they do find some connections. ByuN killed the 4th base already, will you? I mean, I love him pushing against the army, but really he does need to get rid of that hatchery. He spotted it earlier, and he's just been ignoring it. It looks like now, finally, he will take that down.
Another Ling drop into the main here. Widow Mines connecting, but not incredibly well. ByuN looks like he may not have enough units to get this 4th hatchery. Oh, no, he does. He absolutely does get it. Not enough left from soO. These Banelings are up creeping. ByuN snaps him down. The Hydras aren't high enough in count to engage these Marines either.
Sick play from ByuN there. And he is looking so good. About 1,500 resources ahead in the units lost so far. And he is just looking very powerful. He's got very similar economy in terms of worker count, but once again, triple mules dropping, double upgrades on the way. His 2-2 starting about the same time. Actually, soO still hasn't even started. Oh no, he does have +2 carapace. So soO's still slightly ahead in upgrades, but hasn't really been able to expand that to the lead that he had earlier in the game.
Another 4th hatchery denial by ByuN with a bigger army this time. The Hydras are higher in count though, but the Banelings are actually late to the party. He's just morphing 7 of them now. +2 attack on the way for the Lings. There's going to be a way off. The Widow Mines being unburrowed here to keep them alive. The Hydras take them out easily though.
Well played there by soO. Does hold on against that push, but he's losing creep, he's losing map control, and this is how ByuN can take advantage of that. Push on the bottom side, pull soO out of position, and then rotate his reinforcements to the north, try and snipe down that hatchery. And I love the usage of Widow Mines here, something ByuN and Maru have both been triumphing against this Hydra Baneling style. There, didn't quite get time to get the shots off though. This attack falling flat on his face. soO shutting this down, despite having almost no creep spread or vision on the map.
But all the Hydras are down at the 4th base pig, and there is a double medevac drop here in the main. Oh, ByuN's going to lose these medevacs for free here. A little bit of a mistake there from ByuN. soO capitalizing, but what's going to happen in the main?
Oh, this is his chance to get a counterattack going. The Zerglings popping just in time. Very fortuitous timing there for soO. Drones are going to pop out. The Marine's going to come forward. More and more Zerglings going down. A great trade here for ByuN with this drop. Only going to lose a couple of Marines and even going to snipe off a few more drones. Focus firing the drones. Going to pick up one of those medevacs and get on out of there.
Medevacs die very, very quickly to Hydralisks, and there's not enough dead space to keep this medevac alive. Oh, ByuN! Get out of there, mate.
Same as those other 2 medevacs, just kind of idling there over the ground. And I mean, he's going to unload a few Marines. They're not really going to be able to kill anything though. And ByuN being a little bit sloppy with some of these units. soO tying up the supply. His economy still a lot lower though.
That is true. Both players have been taking a lot of damage in the attack and in the defense. It's been ByuN's been the attacker and soO's been the defender, apart from some Ling drops. And looks like now soO feels like it's time to go for a counterattack. He's heading towards that 3rd base location.
fourth base has just started on the gold as well, so it's very exposed. No bunker at the third, even though it is fully walled off. And it is going to be double tank production here for ByuN. Should have enough units to deal with this Zergling counterattack at the same time, pushing the front. Not a lot of Ling Bane with these Hydras. They're very exposed right now. Good control from ByuN, but oh man.
That's a nice Baneling connection there. A couple nice Baneling connections actually in this. And this army does get cleaned up. soO keeping that fourth hatchery alive. And ByuN, another little party heading into the main here. Sniping that queen, seeing that the hive is on the way. And going to get a few more drones as well by the looks of things.
Very nicely done here. And he knows soO doesn't have a big economy. Even though soO's managing to hold on the frontal engagements, he's leaving weaknesses in the back. And ByuN taking advantage of all of that. He is now going to be heading on upwards, +3 weapons on the way, +1 vehicle weapons almost done. He actually lost 1 or 2 siege tanks to that Zergling counterattack, so that count did get reset. And I feel like he needs to do a tank push soon. I'm thinking maybe 6 or 7 siege tanks. Get over there, kill that gold base. If he can knock down one of soO's bases again, then I think he's in a great position. But at the moment, I feel like he's being a little bit too inefficient for this bio.
I have to agree with you, losing the medevacs as well, probably being the worst part of these trades for ByuN as he goes for drops and counterattacks and more drop play. He's going into the main this time. soO's ready. He has some units in position. ByuN can cancel this hatchery though.
That would be nice. Still, all of these little trades.
Oh, that's a kill.
Ooh. This is so hard for soO to micro everything in all these positions, and we do have to remember that every Hydra, every Baneling that goes by, that goes down is very expensive. These are not cheap for soO to produce. Marines, on the other hand, pretty much the most expendable unit the Terran have in the game. Almost as expendable as Zerglings.
You are an accident, Mr. Swarmhost.
Don't tell him that. Oh man, he just wanted to come and enjoy the battle, throw some locusts in. Daddy Maynard just
That's right.
Straight out with the harsh
Mummy
facts.
and Daddy Queen and Cerebird of the Hive did not love you. You were a mistake. You were a hot, sweaty afternoon. We have a double drop here into the main, but soO again ready with tons of units. This hatchery is going to be denied though. Just damage done by both players here. That's another kill though.
Man, these are minerals that soO cannot afford to hemorrhage. That being said, soO's army supply staying up there. He's got +3 carapace on the way. He's made it to Hive Tech. Doesn't have anything like adrenal glands or ultras on the way, and really, I mean, some infestors would be amazing for soO. But here comes the big push. It's all or nothing here. This army will not be able to retreat. There are 8 siege tanks in there, 11 siege tanks on the map in total. A huge push out of ByuN, but not that much bio to support it. And hey, I said there weren't infestors, Maynard. What are those cheeky slugs doing over there?
Yeah, just 2 of them on the field, but you only need 1 money fungal to change the tide of battle here.
No!
Oh, he's unseized.
Oh no!
Oh no! Tons of Ling Bane Hydra coming in from soO, and this could be the perfect opportunity for him to fight, and fight he shall. What a beautiful engagement for the Zerg. Cleans up all of ByuN's army and takes a commanding position. ByuN still even in army supply with that macro, and still a little bit down in workers, but with these hatchery kills, Pig, he's keeping him in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's keeping him in the game, but that should have been a killing blow. ByuN just did not have the bio there. He's been bleeding out so much bio, did not have the support for the tanks, and then added on top of it, of course, the fungal just obliterating the one supporting blob of bio that he did have. And oh man, ByuN losing a lot of units there. Thankfully, he does have another reinforcing push come, but his economy is not that big. Yes, he's got a 5th base, but he doesn't have a lot of SCVs. He needs to trade better with this push. He cannot keep throwing away his armies.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's breaking off 1 medevac for another drop. He knows that there's a fresh hatchery in the top right of the map here. Meanwhile, all this bio is going to try and keep these incredibly critical tanks alive. The tanks are so important for him to trade well against the Hydras. The Hydras make mincemeat of this army. Even with the upgrades, the Hydras don't have attack upgrades, but the DPS is incredible. Tanks unsieged here. ByuN just sieging up and leapfrogging a little bit.
Yeah, 13 Hydras out of the map, so it's not a large amount. If soO ever loses all of those Hydras, there's no way for him to reinforce those. He just doesn't have the income. One bad fight, and soO will be down and out. ByuN still has the army supply lead by almost 40. An absolute horde of Marines, Marauders, and tanks coming across the map, and this ledge may be soO's doom. A beautiful position on the south side of the map. Great tank spread, great bio spread. No fungals this time.
That's right, the infestors are going from this way. No, there's a bungle. That comes from behind. Those burrowed infestors getting another one And all of a sudden, a lot of ByuN's army goes down. And does he have enough with these reinforcements anyway, though? He's stimming in and he's going in for it.
It's okay, the spirit of Todd is here. Luca, de-supply. ByuN just has too much. He's just way ahead. And it looks like as these last Hydras go down, this Marine drop in the north as well. We've got too much on the map, Maynard. And I think ByuN, he's going to be able to finally crack the nut, the tough shell that is soO. And with that base going down, with that Marine drop still in the top, tearing up the drone line, soO down 70 supply. It looks like ByuN's finally been able to carry that momentum through.
Oh my God. ByuN decided to attack 13 minutes ago and just did not stop. Spent the whole game just sending medevac after medevac, bio run by after bio run by, snatching hatchery after hatchery, and just death by 1,000 cuts here for soO. I feel like it was a lot of those engagements looked amazing for soO. He had incredible frontals. One of them we didn't even see at all because of the bird infester being directly under the army of ByuN there. But soO just, even with the great engagements, that non-stop harassment from ByuN kept him alive and kept his army supply higher and higher with that macro.
Similar story to what we saw from Dark earlier in this tournament. Zerg unable to keep the creep out, unable to ascertain that map control, and whenever they're not able to do that, even if they are as good as these guys, they manage to defend one angle, there's always a drop sliding in somewhere else. There's always a mineral line being ransacked, and soO there did a valiant job. He made it to Hive Tech. He even finished +3 carapace. He got infestors out. Somehow managed to do all of that, but it just wasn't quite enough there. You reap as you sow.
Absolutely do, and ByuN reaps so well. You know what? The tick has been pretty good at this event. But I don't know about that one, Waxing.
Yeah, that one kind of, yeah.
I think the Tasteless fanfic's definitely been my favorite feature of this tournament so far.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's actually just really what's happening right now anyway. It's just...
Yeah, I can promise you 100% without a shadow of a doubt that Tasteless is watching this tournament right now.
Absolutely a tear trickling down his face. It's true.
Seeing his hetero life partner, Artemictosis, hosting the desk up there.
Joking around with some other tall guy, some French dude.
That's right.
It's just not the same. But hey, we are going to be going to this next map. That first one, man, soO was tough to crack there. The next map is going to be Proxima Station. Is he going to have a chance to bring it back?
Oh, let's get into it. I can't wait for game 2. Let's do it, guys. In the top right here, winning game number 1 with a bit of a tightrope walk. This is Team Experts, ByuN.
Massive fan favorite. Lots of people in the audience down there cheering for him. But this guy, absolute hero in his own right. A runner-up of 6 separate tournaments, a one-time champion. It is soO.
6-time GSL finalist. And people meme like, hey, if you don't win a championship, that means that you're not good. No, absolutely not. How do you make the top 2 of these incredible tournaments, the hardest tournament in the whole world, without being good at the game? That's why soO is largely brought up as the best Zerg in the game right now.
He won that Kesper Cup as well. You know, people like to forget that, but you know, it was still a big win, still a tough one.
It's hard to meme when you start thinking about facts.
Yeah, you don't want to think about those too much. But here on Proxima, man, this is going to be a multi-prong madness map, 360 degrees, where you can drop from, when you can bring Liberators in from. That's going to be very hard for something like Hydralisks to defend. I wouldn't be surprised if soO just goes for like Mutiling Bane or something along those lines instead. That being said, you can still make the Hydras work here. No matter what, we're definitely going to be seeing more economic openings out of both players. Speaking of which, my gosh, soO already going for a 3rd hatchery before the command center even starts for ByuN.
That's right, he's gasless so far. He's just gotten the spawning pool and both hatcheries. Yet to get any of that gas, which means he's going to have a great economy, but of course link speed's going to be a whiles away. And tier 2 as a result as well. ByuN, of course, just going for a Reaper and a 2nd barracks at the back here. Is he going for 2-1-1?
I think so. Ooh, going to be interesting to see that one. You know, a build which is not as popular as it once was, but I think it's still fantastic. And on this map especially, right when soO moves out to take a 4th base, he spreads himself out so far. You add in the first 2 medevacs. You come in with a 3rd or 4th medevac, you add in maybe a Liberator as well. Suddenly, soO trying to defend all of those areas at once, it just opens him up, and it's going to be ByuN's ball game. Coming in from multiple sides, being the aggressor, that is where ByuN excels, and that is what he will love doing here on this map.
That's right, so it is going to be the 2-1-1 here. Babby's first TVZ build from ByuN. There'll be 2 barracks, 1 factory, and starport follow-up. And soO does scout that as well, of course, with the Overlord heading into the main of ByuN right now. Reaper being a little bit annoying. Hello, Intel Extreme Masters. You have been a fantastic tournament.
Love it down here in Shanghai. Loving the air conditioning a little bit higher today as well. It's been a cooler day, a much happier day, and the games are just keep getting better and better. Tomorrow, of course, we will be bringing you guys the semifinals and the finals. But for now, this is the last quarterfinal to find who will be joining the other 3 players in the semis.
That's right. No starport yet for ByuN. Can certainly afford it. The Reaper just being controlled here. Trying to get whatever he can, and of course the third base location, soO takes that first because it gives you that creep spread. This little choke point can be held very easily with Queens. In fact, 3-Rax Reaper is not super good on this map either because you can drop a Spine Crawler right there, and the Queens just bat it back. It's almost never going to trade well.
You know, the gasless style here can actually work out really well against 2-1-1 as long as soO kind of prepares in time for it. And I mean, with soO's vision, he actually did spot that second barracks way earlier on in the game. He knows exactly what he's up against. So soO should really know that right around that 5-minute 10 mark, 5-minute 20-minute mark, that's where ByuN's going to be rocking up with a whole bunch of Marines, Medivacs, and Stim. So I'm pretty sure soO here, yeah, he starts Ling Speed. That's going to finish kind of just around the time that ByuN has arrived. He's going to have a ton of Queens, a ton of Zerglings, and other than that, he's just going to focus on droning super hard. I think soO, this build order, ends up being pretty much the best option as long as he defends that first wave from ByuN.
Yeah, and it looks like he may try and do this without Banelings as well. So a lot of Zergs tend to get as, well, they used to tend to get against the 2-1-1ers. It makes things a little bit easier. He's getting the Evo, breaking down those rocks, so that just in case the Marines want to, you know, leapfrog from the third base, or I guess the natural base for soO, the third base location, to the back area. You just catch them here.
Interesting. We're already seeing a third gas and a tech lab on the factory. If ByuN starts siege tank production, then we know he is doing something very cheeky. I mean, there's no third CC, no E-base. Oh, he's already queued up a siege tank. Oh man, ByuN is going to go for a 2-base Marine tank all-in push. He's probably going to completely skip upgrades and just try to kill soO. soO has no idea this is coming. Of course, that's going to be a little bit later. For now, he has to contend with this first medevac drop.
And he'll be looking to clean up some of this creep as well. If he wants to get these siege tags in a nice spot and unscouted for as long as possible, he's going to need to take those out, and he does. Getting into the third base natural location. The Lings not with speed yet, engaging with the Marines. Reaper gets taken out, a bunch of the Bio gets pushed back, and the medevac's a little bit too low, so ByuN pulls out off creep.
Yeah, just going to back off for now. Did clear up some creep. Not too bad a trade for ByuN, but not fantastic either. For now, soO looking very comfortable. And behind this, he's droning up. He's adding more Zerglings. He's actually playing very safe right now. I don't think soO has any idea what the follow-up is. Yeah, he hasn't seen the factory, the tech lab, or anything like that. But only now is a third CC starting for ByuN. Like, ByuN is going to have to do damage with this push. I wonder if he's just going to siege up the tank behind the natural. He has got a tank that's coming down here in a medevac, so I think he might siege up the low ground. But soO's already taken the rocks down.
Yeah, I mean, brought it up before, like, and he's also working on the rocks on the other side as well. Those two abusable locations for siege tanks are going to not be able to, you know, he's not going to be able to use them as abusively as possible because the Lings can get there so easily.
Oh man, I don't think ByuN's going to be happy to see that that's down. This is not great in this situation. There's so many Zerglings that can jump down on this. ByuN's going to stim on up here. He's got the siege tank pushed up there. He's going to start going for those workers. Does grab 2 of them. Oh, if he can deny the +1 carapace, that'll be big. But the Zerglings come in for the save. They're going to wrap around these Marines, and they're going to have to lift up. There's no way they can contest that Zergling count.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He does drop in the main as well, though. The Spore Crawler takes out the medevac, but the Marines managed to get a few drones. They're getting 5 in total so far. ByuN still managing to keep everything alive somehow with this extremely hurt medevac. Does lose the siege tank, though. The Bio's still alive and looking for another assault. These Queens transfusing each other, keeping each other alive, though.
Oh, man, transfuse, good unit. The Queens are just saying, no way. That is not enough Marines. Not against 6 Queens with a ton of transfusers, and soO hangs on. He's up a couple of workers. He's got 3 bases. He's got a carapace upgrade finished. ByuN is transitioning behind this. I called it an all-in earlier. That was me getting a little bit excited. It was definitely a big commitment that didn't get the damage that he wanted, but ByuN here, he's going to transition on into that macro game.
That's right, guys. Don't forget about the Pig Daily. Every day when Pig returns back to Australia. Talking about the all-ins that aren't the all-ins. They turn in third bases. We've got Aspire going to get a drop as well. 10 more drones. soO so confident that he's going to be able to hold this with just what he has.
Very good defense so far. Shuts down the Liberator.
He's been doing a really good job. This one in the main's going to get a few drones at least. But the other Liberator taken out, the Marine's taken out, the Medevac looks like it's going to be taken out as well. Oh, no, the Queens decide to get back on that creep there. It's a little bit of a slow waddle.
I mean, ByuN is still keeping soO very occupied, and soO still hasn't had a chance to drone up to like the 65, 70 drones that he'd love to be at right now. ByuN himself has established a third base behind this, but as that Liberator goes down, it looks like finally soO is going to buy himself a little bit of breathing room. And this is where he starts to push his advantages. Spire almost finished. Fourth base on the way. Creep spread getting way out of control. He's up in upgrades. soO slightly ahead on almost every front.
Yeah, he's really dotting his I's, crossing his T's here in the ZvT. Doing a great job. Oh, this has been unscouted. soO just sees the edge of it here with that Overlord.
If he can find the drone line, big damage can happen in just a moment's notice. But it looks like, no, the Lynx and Queens are there. Only going to get a Spore Crawler.
Yeah, Spore Crawler. That is the extent of it. Not too many Marines here, so I don't think he'll be able to burn down that hatchery either before soO reacts. Gets rid of this Overlord because we know ByuN loves these drops. And with pesky scouting Overlords, it becomes a little bit trickier. Muta's now out for soO, so he can start killing these Medevacs a little bit easier now.
Oh, these drops, they're going to be in danger zone right now. These Mutas coming out, and these isn't a small number of Mutas either. We've already got 7 out. We've got a bunch more on the way. +1 attack on the way for those Flyers as well.
Medevac's getting caught here. One of them very, very low with a ton of units gets taken out, and the other one's going to nearly get taken out. But nice little loop-de-loop there from ByuN, keeps it alive. The Widow Mine not connecting amazingly against the Lings there. Good control from soO.
ByuN trying to get as much as he can out of that, but oh, soO is everywhere at once. Even with ByuN attacking on 4 different sides, soO shuts it all down. The Liberators are forced to retreat as well. ByuN not able to find it.
soO is locked up tighter than a snare drum right now. There is no opening for ByuN to do any damage. He knows that it's Muta time, so he has Thors in production now, which is going to help out a ton against the Mutas and also tank against those Banelings as well. Great unit choice here from ByuN as 2-2 upgrades start to get ready for him.
Widow Mines continue to pick up the odd kill here or there, be a little bit annoying, but soO, that creep spread, that is what he is getting out there now. He's getting that map control. He's pushing his way out onto the map. The 2-2 upgrades have now started for ByuN, but 1-2 already finished for soO. soO heading towards Hive. No doubt going to be starting that +2 melee any moment now. And both players still relatively close, but as soO gets more and more space on the map, as he gets closer to those Ultras, that's where things get a lot harder for ByuN.
Yeah, I mean, Thors can engage Ultras, but it's really all about the Ghosts and or Liberators for Terran to deal with that super, super late game Zerg army. I love that he's getting drilling cores on that Tech Lab factory, by the way. Make things a little bit easier for his Widow Mine burrowing. Funnily enough, like a lot of Widow Mines with drilling claws can be okay against Ultralisks. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, they're definitely not like the most supply efficient way of dealing with them, but the fact that they just have such a big sudden explosion, especially if there's Banelings tucked in under the Ultras, the splash damage will still take out the Banelings while doing big damage to the Ultras. And both players posturing. ByuN would love to deny this gold base. He's going to edge forward. He has the army supply advantage. Hive still is not quite done for soO.
Oof, that's a lot of Banelings there for soO. It's getting up there in the count, 11 more on the way.
Going to be going up to 50 Banelings in total. That is a ton.
Yeah,
Double Liberator going to try and siege up the bottom while he shoves at the front. ByuN starting to get a little bit tricky.
And trickiness is the way he likes to be. Got a big spread of Marines here. He's just so nervous of getting too deep on this creep, though, taking it easy. And there's the shift queue here for this Liberator harassment.
Oh, yeah, those Queens are already on it. So soO with a good reaction so far. Muta's going to get back there. Doesn't even lose the Queen in the main. Oh, man, soO is all over this right now. Widow Mine's on the front. Big hit for one of those mines. Lots of Banelings fell there. And now there's only about 30 Banelings left. Okay, only 30. He's got a ton. soO has so many units.
Oh, those connections not too bad, but still many Banelings left over. That's a nice Baneling connection there, softening up the Marine count of ByuN here. And there's the reinforcements from soO coming down all the way from the northern 4th base.
I mean, ByuN has to keep pushing, but he just doesn't have the numbers. soO's going to smash this. There's just way too much Sling Bane. Muta rolls over the top like it's nothing, and ByuN has to turn, tail, and run.
soO cuts through him like a hot knife through butter, and ByuN desperately trying to keep these heavy, expensive Thors alive with Medevacs, but one of them gets surrounded and gets taken out. ByuN, what does he have back home? He's down 40 army supplies. The Mutas are coming in. The Marines are getting surrounded by the Lings. The Banelings looking to connect on that juicy bio ball. ByuN targeting as well as he can. His army is still alive somehow, but there's those connections.
Just great play here from soO, rolling over the top, takes a massive amount of damage to ByuN's face, and soO here going to pull back, make some more Banelings, make some Ultras, get that +2 melee, that +3 carapace. Kindness plating is on the way. soO is filling out his entire tech tree, and ByuN just there, wounded mortally, barely on a 4th base, trying to get +3 weapons, inching out a few Marauders, Marines, Thors, and Mines, but against the forces soO,
yeah,
this is not looking good.
I completely agree with you, man. He's technically alive, just like someone in a vegetative state is technically alive, but this soO just has the next step ready, and ByuN does not. He's got Ultralisks, he's got Chitinous on the way. ByuN, the Liberator count, not really existent right now. No Ghost Academy.
Only a couple of Marauders in the mix, 39 Marines, 2 Widow Mines and 2 Thors. 2 Ultras have joined the field now. There are more on the way. 3 more Ultras and a few Corruptors about to pop. A lot of upgrades about to finish for soO, so he is going to try and wait for a few more seconds. We can see +2 melee just finished, Kindness plating, and +3 carapace very close. And I think once they're done, we're going to see soO go for a very decisive engagement.
Absolutely. Expanding in the meantime, soO with a wonderful creep spread, with wonderful defense in the early game, getting him a very strong late game here. ByuN pulling back and just taking it easy, which is not the comfort zone for ByuN. He wants to be able to continue to attack. He has to sit back and be patient if he wants any chance here, getting that Liberator count up. But I even think if soO left him alone for 5 minutes, he's still going to be in a rough spot.
Yeah, if I think of ByuN's strengths, it is not the late game, maybe the mid game. When he's got momentum, when he's got tempo, he's fantastic. But right now here, gas-starved, not with that many minerals in the bank, barely trying to take a 5th, which is actually his main base, which lifted over there. And with creep all over the map, ByuN suddenly has to focus on winning a frontal engagement. And at this stage of the game, that is one of the most technical, hard, difficult things for Terran players to achieve. This Zerg army is not easy to beat.
And speaking of a Zerg army, a tunneling slotting in here towards this 5th base location of ByuN. ByuN's Marines trying to find a nice position between the minerals to trade as efficiently as possible. They just don't have the numbers though, and soO cleans that base up.
Oh,
ByuN's moving all of his units. He's moving them all out of the units, out of the position here, and that planetary is less vulnerable.
Yeah, that gold base, that's what he wants, but ooh, ByuN rotates back, he gets there in time. Oh no, he didn't send his units over, he pulled everything back because he was so worried about this army at the front. ByuN on the back foot, 1 Liberator taking big damage, the Ultras and Banelings just posturing around. These Banelings gonna roll in, get a couple hits there on the Marines and Marauders. 22 SCVs have fallen on the right-hand side. His economy is stunted, it has been smashed. ByuN desperately trying to get out more Liberators, more command centers, but soO is in control of this game, and that creep spread, you can see it. Every second he's in control, it gets further across the map.
Yeah, ByuN's in the dark here. He just hasn't been able to do damage to soO until just now when we saw him starting to deny some hatcheries, but there's still so many still alive, and a very healthy worker count for soO. Nearly 80 drones against the less than 50 SCVs of ByuN. ByuN trying to go for another drop, but again, soO's just ready with a paltry force of Zerg units. This base, though, is in a bit of trouble, but soO can actually afford to lose a hatchery. That's not a huge deal for him right now.
The Lings on the right as well are going to say, hey, yeah, you can kill my hatchery. Guess what? You're losing a ton of SCVs once again. The Ling Bane will be rolling in there. A few bio units from ByuN should be able to clean that up with the right micro.
Ooh.
But at the front, the Ultras jump on top, and there's not very many Liberators here.
All the Ultras are starting to die. The bio of ByuN is kiting back as well as they can and engaging these Ultras as well as they can, but they are upgraded and they are pressing the issue. ByuN microing back a very heavily stimmed army. The medevacs are gone, and he is very nice micro here against these Ultras. A lot of the bio does stay alive. The medevacs dying though means that they are going to remain so hurt, and another counterattack from soO doing a ton of damage.
Those 2-3 Zerglings just smashing it right now. They have adrenal glands. They're destroying the economy of ByuN. And now soO is very comfortable. Taking out all of the air units of Terran is really soO's only goal. In the first big engagement, it's kill the medevacs, kill the Liberators. Those are the expensive units. The bio cannot cut it on its own. And now ByuN, he's got this big force of Marine Marauder, but it doesn't have the technical support that it needs.
And anytime he makes medevacs, that's not Liberators being produced. ByuN doesn't have a ton of starports here. He doesn't have a ton of money either. He's so gas-starved right now. He's making medevacs to try and help out his bio, but that means less Liberators.
Widow Mines there, burrowed. ByuN falling back to lick his wounds. soO's not going to give him time. A couple of good Widow Mine shots will try to slow the advance, but it's not going to be enough. Liberators sieging mid-combat, only getting a few shots off on the edge of these Ultralisks, the rest rolling on through. All the air units are gone once again. ByuN losing valuable units he cannot afford to replace. The bio's so deep in the red, Maynard.
Yeah, they are indeed. Somehow he's trading against these Ultras and keeping most of his bio alive, but 7 more SCVs down, and ByuN's economy, not a whole lot to speak of there, just 30 SCVs. The Ultras going, nah. You want to kill me, you got to scan, buddy. There's one less meal for you, and I know you don't want to do that.
That's when you're playing hide and seek and you literally just go and lie on your bed and put the blanket over your head. Not the most secretive. ByuN drops the scan, blasts that Ultra to pieces. And yeah, looking good for soO here. Just going to steadily close this game out. Very impressive defense throughout. You got to think back to what happened in the early game here. You know, ByuN committed a lot to that tank. Saw the rocks were down and he just got crushed. If he had that position with those rocks still up, he definitely could have done a lot more damage, but soO was so good at defending all the angles. He's shut down probably about 6 or 7 Liberators throughout the course of this game that have tried to sneak up on him. And now it's his turn to sneak up on top of ByuN.
Yeah, he's going for a sneaky, cheeky ninja play here. The Burrowed Infestors looking for a big bungle to end this game. Will this be the last engagement? There's the money bungle. And that is going to be it for ByuN's army here. GG. soO ties it up. What a piece. We've got ourselves a series.
Yeah, very decisive play there from soO. Very smooth, very comfortable, and really after deflecting that aggression, that's what we expected him to do. Remember how late the upgrades were, the 3rd command center, they were delayed by minutes on end. ByuN needed to do big damage and perhaps not keeping soO busy enough with the first Marine push. Those Zerglings had way too much free time in their hands. They broke down the rocks on both sides. And I mean, overall, just a great build order choice from soO to go gasless, to delay his Ling speed until right at that moment when the Marines were there with Stim, having just the right number of Queens and Lings to shut down the push. ByuN did not find any openings with his first pressure.
Oh man, and we're really excited to see how things go into game 3, who takes the lead here in this series. But before we do, we're gonna take a short break, but don't go away as we continue the series after the break.
Tied up 1-1 are soO and ByuN. Who's going to win it? Who's going to take it down? Who do you think's playing better right now, Todd?
I mean, in game 1, ByuN in game 2, soO. I guess that's one way to put it. Overall, it's quite hard to pick. I'm just going to stick with ByuN.
Okay.
I'm not biased at all, but
no.
I feel like ByuN's playing really well, but soO in second game was able to gain some momentum, and then from there, like, if the game goes for longer and if he defends everything that's being thrown at him as well as he did there, you know, catching a couple of these medivacs and defending the majority of them pretty darn well. I think soO is always going to be looking super dominant heading into the late game with like these ultras and that hive tech.
Yeah, I think soO was always very good at taking the larger fights and being very good in like the center of the map. But what ByuN was really good at was being around the map and picking off bases, picking off drones. And he never let soO be comfortable, so that even when soO won a fight, he didn't then remax so easily because he had no economy in comparison to ByuN.
It's very true, but let's remember, right, the 3-Rax Reaper game, or just the Reaper game in general, is where ByuN really gets that power in the early game. Like you were talking about, Todd, in the very beginning, that early game, it's so important. If ByuN can get the lead, it seems like he's unbeatable. Like, what do you even do?
It's very hard. The first map, actually, I didn't think soO did that bad with that. It's just that later on, these Reapers, they started really adding up, and KDA charge is like one of those things that if you're as good as ByuN, you can really make the most of. The previous map that we saw is, I think, one of the... actually, it is the absolute worst for Reaper, right? So
yes.
Now we're going to go back to the rest of the maps here in this best of 5, and I'm pretty sure that if ByuN wants to, he can very easily, again, go into these Reapers, try to push soO out of his comfort zone, and maybe this time around, not necessarily stick to Reapers and then add Medivacs, but go back into Marines a little bit earlier.
Well, regardless of what he does, I would like to see ByuN just go Reaper for the rest of the game. You know, whether it's super devoted or just a little bit, he's just so good with that. And again, we're not going to see it too much more in the future as Blizzard has decided to nerf those KD8 charges.
Yeah, I mean, it's what ByuN is best at as well, because he has some of the best micro in the world, and the Reaper's a super micro-intensive unit. And what ByuN can do so well is find every single possible opportunity to get that damage done, which just puts him in, it puts the Zerg in a very difficult position to do anything.
Well, we're about to see if he's going Reapers here once again. Let's throw it back to our casters and watch game number 3.
Thank you, Artosis. I have a feeling he might as we go into Abyssal Reef for game number 3. A map, in my opinion, fantastic for 3-Rax Reaper.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Is ByuN going to go back to his roots, to what gave him success there in game number 1? We will have to find out as the man himself spawning up here in the top left-hand side, representing Team Expert. It is ByuN.
Current reigning world champ, not unbeatable anymore. Far from it. And the bottom right here, this is soO. And that kid really impressed me on Proxima. That was some brilliant late game ZvT play and incredibly defensive, like clean, crisp, clean defensive early game ZvT as well.
Yeah.
So good.
Against a player like ByuN, I feel like it's so easy to just slip up a little bit and let one of those drops in and like clear out a mineral line, let a Liberator kill a bunch of drones. I think the biggest mistake soO made was when ByuN hit him in like 4 places at once and one Liberator killed 3 workers. And that was it. Like over 10 minutes of ByuN constantly dropping, that was the biggest mistake he made. And that is a real testament to soO's skill, just his raw skill and mechanics in this game. And going right back to GSL Season 1, where he did places the runner-up, managed to take out TY in the round of 8, and also mixed in a lot of early Ravager rushes. Haven't seen any of that here against ByuN, with good reason. ByuN, a player who likes to do this one.
He sure does. 3-Rax Reaper.
What are those?
That's a Reaper. Comes out of a barracks.
Ah.
Just one on the way, but there are, as you can count, 1, 2, 3 barrackses.
Oh my.
And they are going to all start producing Reapers very, very shortly, Pig.
Okay. All right. So Reapers up against Queens and Zerglings, a familiar story we've seen before, and we're going to see again, apparently. And as we saw back on Odyssey, even on a map with a lot of wide open spaces, ByuN still managed to do very well with it. Here on Abyssal, you said it, Maynard, there's a lot of ledges. There's a lot of beautiful areas for those Reapers to jump up and down. You know, there isn't just that one little ledge into the main. There's a huge ledge into the main, and it's very close to where they can access the naturals. They can actually rotate between hitting the natural, hitting the main, and be super annoying.
And we'll see how soO does here. Obviously, it hasn't drone scouted or anything like that, so he's not aware of ByuN's doing just yet. Seeing 1 Reaper is not uncommon, but when you see 2, that's when you know.
Yeah, and he is about to see that right now. And soO immediately knows what he's facing off against. He has a lot of gas bang, could go for the Ravager defense, but I'd say that's pretty rare. It's more of a European thing to build Ravagers against 3-Rax Reaper. In Korea, it's almost always just Queens and Zerglings. And once again, fast Evo Chamber, so it looks like he's just going to go for that fast Carapace upgrade and once again go for the same sort of defense.
And we'll see if he goes for Overlord drops as well as he did on Odyssey. ByuN still, obviously, not losing any of his early game Reapers, just doing a little bit of damage to his Lings, not getting any drone kills just yet. And soO's just making a ton of Lings right now. Wow, 10 more Lings on the way here. As speed's about to finish, gonna make things a little bit more dangerous for these Reapers, but they are always positioned so nicely on the edge of that creep just in case, and there are ledges for them to get into safety as well.
Yeah, gonna just stay near that choke point for now. They want to be very careful. The Queen's actually gonna come forward. Good defense by soO so far, but soO only on 22 workers and having to build a lot of Zerglings. Already going to start to sneak some of those around the edge of the map to counterattack and no doubt load up a Dropper Lord as well.
It's a nice move here to try and catch the reinforcing Reapers as they head towards your base. soO looks like he may want to... No, he's actually just going straight for that Overlord. I think that's going to become a Dropper Lord so shortly. Oh, he tests the wall here. Obviously not going to be able to break in there, but with these Lings, he needs to be effective with them. He needs to use them, otherwise they're wasted supply. They're not at home being defensive against these Reapers for him. He's just relying on the Queens and whatever he makes out of his hatcheries back at home currently.
Yeah, I mean, ByuN sees Zerglings at the front. He sees Zerglings probing his wall at home. He knows soO isn't building a lot of drones right now, and that's why he's being very conservative with his Reapers. He says, the one thing you would love right now is for my Reapers to get caught just outside your base, you to bring in Zerglings from both sides, surround them, and just take the wind out of my sails. He knows keeping those Reapers alive keeps a threat out on the map, and you can see he's just rejoining with his Reaper reinforcements. They're all about to group up here. And he's just going to push over towards that third base. He says, okay, you want to drone and take a third? Now's time to use those Reapers. Push you off this map and keep the pressure up.
And without the add-ons, I mean, we see a reactor coming in right now. I think we're actually going to see the double medevac follow-up for these Reapers as well to keep them even more alive and more annoying. But ByuN's Reapers being caught here by these Lings of soO. He knows that they're on the way towards his third base location. This hatchery is very vulnerable right now. There's not much creep spread. The Queens aren't here either, and it doesn't have full hit points.
Oh, there's no armor on that hatchery while it's building. It needs to finish so that it can reduce the damage of these pistols that these Reapers are wielding. And ready, putting down those zoning grenades. Just looking very dangerous right now. ByuN still mass-producing Reapers at home, but not overextending. He knows that soO is respecting this, and soO has a monstrous Zergling count out. He needs those Zerglings to come closer for him to wrap around them, though.
The double medevacs are on the way here by ByuN. To help out those Reapers, we'll actually be able to ferry them between the main and the third as well. I've seen a lot of that play, and there's that Dropper Lord for soO. The Reapers seeing the Lings in the middle of the map. Looks like the KDA grenades go down to keep the Reapers alive. Well, that one actually hurting his own Reapers a little bit there, but he sees the Lings in the middle of the map. Does ByuN react to the drop Overlords? Is he aware of this play? Oh, those are Queens.
Oh, lots more Queens on the way. 4 Queens coming over here, along with 40 Zerglings. Looks like he's going to do a little bit of harassment on the mineral lines. Of course, Reaper's unable to shoot up. He knows the anti-air of ByuN will be very limited. ByuN's only just building his add-ons now. He has a grand total of 3 Marines out on the map, and those will go down pretty quickly to a couple of Queens.
I think ByuN's in a lot of trouble here, Pig. He's going to go for a drop as these add-ons are on the way. He doesn't have a lot of production at home, and the Reapers are all the way out here on the map. Meanwhile, a bunch of Lings are about to drop into his main mineral line.
Oh, the Marines are going to intercept the Overlord on the natural. Those Queens, though, going to just smash them. Zerglings in the main, the SCV's being forced to evacuate. And here we go, these Reapers are going to make their way back, but already 5 workers have gone down. A great little bit of harassment here from soO. He's got a medevac.
Yeah, he got a medevac with the Queens there. ByuN coming forward with the SCVs and with the Reapers to try and stop these Queens. They can, of course, be lifted up into this Overlord, be kept alive, and they have a lot of transfuse energy as well. They're continuing to engage. The Reapers' DPS is pretty good when they're this high number, but they are being cut into. The transfuses are good here from soO, and he just picks up and leaves.
He actually killed a fair few Reapers there and 6 SCVs in total, so ByuN taking a little bit of damage there. He's going to be coming in with his own Liberator counter pressure, trying to put the hurt back onto soO. This one Queen down here is going to get healed up with the transfuses, and it looks like soO, clean defense, just going to lose 1 Queen, 1 drone for the Lib.
Not a bad trade at all. Double Widowmine drop here for ByuN. He's going to look for some more drone kills, and he kind of needs them. There's a nice defense here in the main this time. ByuN not losing too much more, but oh, the Queen's still alive, all 4 of them in this Overlord, going in for more SCV kills. How annoying for ByuN to have to deal with this. His Reapers can't be on the map. They have to be home to defend against these drop Overlords. In fact, a lot of the Reapers are caught behind the attacking units here.
This is such a cute little way to abuse.
12 drones just died.
Oh, man. That Widowmine drop sneaking in while soO is distracted. That does help to equalize things. soO still up 8 workers here. And I got to say, though, he's done good damage to slow ByuN down, but ByuN has the 3rd orbital now finally on the way. He's got his 1-1 on the way, so he will be slowly catching up in upgrades. But these Queens, once again, finding their way into the mineral line. Oh man, ByuN, you've got to shut this down.
He absolutely does. Oh, nearly getting the overlord, but it lives again. The high energy queen is actually the one that's the closest to dead, so the other queens can't transfuse it to keep it alive. He has a third CC finished, but obviously it's not been dropped on location yet. ByuN in the dark a little bit, but the Reapers are hitting the field again, and it looks like they're going to Siege to get some damage done.
Not much creep spread out for soO either. You know, he's had great map control. ByuN hasn't really been able to pressure him properly for the last few minutes, but soO sent all of his extra queens across the map, and as a result, his creep spread at home isn't that good. He's starting to set up little outposts on the map in the top side, which is cute, but he really needs more than that. So using that Dropper Lord for that exact purpose is super cool.
Absolutely, and that creep spread obviously being close to the natural of ByuN means you can start to cover it and get right up in the Terran's face as well. These Reapers very deep on the creep here. ByuN needs to be careful. He does have Marines to help out. They are DPSing down these lanes, but there are so many Zerglings here from soO, and he does bat him back.
Didn't quite have the critical mass, and oh man, he redrops and the Banelings get on top of him. He picked up just barely in time. ByuN once again dancing with death. soO here just holding everything off. The Widowmine drop looking for a bit more sneaky damage while soO spreads creep all over the map with that Dropper Lord.
This Widowmine does burrow. Looks like a few more drones are going to go down. 6 in total. The Liberator coming in as well to do more damage. Can actually target the eggs as well.
Ooh, nice. Widowmine on the third. Last place you'd expect it. And that is going to kill another whole bunch of us. Another Lib in the main. Oh man, ByuN is just going crazy.
You damage my workers, I damage your workers. Ha! Just happening from both sides of the fence here. The drops from soO doing so much economical damage. The Liberator harassment, the Widowmine drops from ByuN doing economical damage. Both players taking so much hurt back at home.
This is so annoying for soO to deal with. Even going to lose an egg there, but defense on the front, not bad.
Those grenades, man. Doesn't make sense.
ByuN, he has spotted the creep now. That Dropper Lord is being a real pain in the butt. For now, it looks like ByuN's just saying, ignore it. I don't care if you've got creep over there. I'm just going to push you and kill you. And soO has taken so many hits over the last few minutes that I think ByuN's actually going to be able to do it. His multi-prong has been fantastic. Widowmine drops, Liberators, and frontal pushes, always using these Reapers and these Reaper grenades to the maximum effect. ByuN trying to do it, but that is a lot of Baneling.
Beautiful Widowmine connection. There goes most of those Banelings. Only looks like 4 of them alive here. And ByuN going for the hatchery. He's gunning for it, Pig.
Oh, that's a lot of Marines, a lot of damage. The Ling Bane Hydra coming forward. The Marines are on creep. Yeah, good pick up there from ByuN. Does not want to lose those units. His Widowmines are going to start to get cleaned up. This is an important pickup here for soO. But ByuN maintains position. He's still knocking on the doorstep.
Yeah, he's going for the throat, not worried about this creep that's being spread. It's actually about to connect to his third base here. There's some Marines that could engage these queens, but they're just chilling right now. There they go. It looks like they're going after the queens now. But ByuN has his sights set on getting this kill. He wants this hatchery. Scanning and getting rid of these creep tumors now so he can get that 4th base location taken if he needs to. soO defending. He has Hydralisks out now, which is going to help out a ton. Widowmine's connecting again. This time, actually not incredibly well. A lot of the Banelings and Lings for soO are still alive. Hydra's defending a drop into the main as well. An attempt by ByuN deflected.
Oh man, soO is so good. Even after all of those worker losses earlier, he's recovered back to 65 drones, but he's lost a lot of creep spread and map control. Now that this little Dropper Lord of Queens has been actually not completely, but almost completely cleaned up, ByuN is starting to focus back on the front, but soO smashes a couple of the Marines there.
A little bit slow in the reaction there from ByuN. Loses a medevac, loses a bunch of Marines. And soO's army, it's up in a fair bit in supply. Of course, ByuN can trade pretty well against it, but he has +2 attack and carapace for those Lings and Banes. Of course, the Hydralisks trying to get +1 attack for them to make them hit even harder than they normally do, which is pretty hard, I gotta say. Hydras do a lot more DPS than whenever I expect.
ByuN's going to swap into siege tanks now. He's got double siege tank production, still only on 5 barracks. He's going to start going for that 4th command set. It's almost finished, and this will get shut down. Not the best one there from ByuN, and you can see it in the supply count. soO just so efficient on shutting down all these little trades. He's starting to close the gap and actually, well, increase his supply gap. He's got more army supply and more workers than ByuN right now. The only thing he's lacking is a bit of map control, but even that's starting to edge out as you see his creep tumors starting to re-spread into the middle of the map.
I was going to say that soO needs to be looking at tier 3 here, and he certainly is. Infestation Pit on the halfway on the way here because the Terran's getting his 3-3 upgrades, and if he's not looking at tier 3 when 3-3 hits, it's going to be a little bit rough when he starts to engage this Pyro, but as it stands, soO is ready for the next step in this game. He's ready for that late game. ByuN as well, trying to get up into it as strongly in a position as possible.
ByuN here, 3-3 on the way. Double siege tank production, 5 barracks bio. Not really adding in liberators or anything like that, as there are 21 hydras on the map, soon to have +1 range. Hive has now started for soO as well. And here comes a very nice Baneling drop.
I think this is going to do a fair bit here. Oh no, ByuN reacting immediately by the look of the minimap. Yeah, he does.
Pulled every SCV out of there very quickly. Might lose a few workers in the main, but there's not too many mining there to begin with, so nothing too bad.
He's just out of mineral patches anyway. Mining that gas. Marines should be able to take out this Overlord.
Oh, he didn't focus fire the Overlord.
Oh, no.
Oh, big blunder.
Whoa. This mistake from ByuN nearly costing him so many SCVs here. In fact, getting 6, but that could have been so much worse. They are so in the red. Meanwhile, an engagement in the middle of the map. soO has the high ground. ByuN with a pre-split on these Marines off creep.
And it's all about this army for both players right now. soO has built up to 80 workers. He's got Ultras, eventually will be on the way. But for now, it's just Hydraling, Baneburst, Bio Tank, a great flank from soO.
Yeah, he's coming from the north and from the east here with the Hydras. He just crushes everything Terran related in the middle of the map and takes a commanding supply lead in army.
Too many Banelings there, too many Lings, too many Hydras, and the positioning was just fantastic. soO here showing us how to play Hydraling Bane. Even after taking a few bruises throughout the early game, soO so solid, so strong. And he is now starting to run away with this game. Look at that production tab, Maynard.
That's right. So fresh, so clean. so's getting everything under the sun here. 3-3 on the way. Kindness, of course, 4 Ultras soon to follow. Adrenal for those Lings, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing some Infestors. In fact, there it is in the production tab. 2 Infestors on the way here for soO, and just 2 is all he makes. He doesn't overcommit to Infestors. They're very gas heavy. He just gets 2. He keeps them alive, and those Fungals do so well for him. Oh, this is an overextension, though.
Ooh, they want that spot in the semi-finals. soO here, I mean, he showed the patience before on Proxima. I'm sure he's going to show that same patience here again. No reason to overextend, only going to take trades when they appear to him. As just there, picking off a few bio units and then pulling back. He's still got this annoying creep spread all over the left-hand side of the map, spreading through the middle as well. That Queen from the Dropalord, a 7-kill Queen, mostly SCVs and Marines from early on, has now been a massive annoyance. She's drained multiple scans out of ByuN. And this is just causing a lot of the pain.
Yeah, she's the hardest working Queen I've seen in a long time here. Been alive since the early game. Oh! Ooh, attempted flank here from soO. Looks like it was spotted by ByuN. Repositions his army. Has siege tanks in siege position as well. And he's just slowly inching forward, trying to get towards soO. But this slowness from ByuN. Oh, the Fungals persist. Oh, there's a nice Fungal there from soO. He still has one more as well. He's coming from the back again with more Hydras and Banes. Looks like there's just too much dirt here, Big. I don't know if ByuN can hold on. Doesn't look like it.
Ooh, actually, great
mind.
positioning on the ledge here from ByuN. Does manage to hold on for now, but I mean, that's a little bit of a Pyrrhic victory. soO's upgrades are still going to have time to finish. ByuN really has to make it happen with this push. If he can't at least take out this base, I don't think he's got much time left in this game. And all of his bio is so wounded. He's going to try and get it. soO trying to engage. His Kindness plating is finished. 3-3 is so close to done. About 20 seconds left. soO just trying to buy time.
He certainly is. Losing this hatchery certainly would suck, and he's actually in range of it. Looks like the hatchery will go down. soO coming in with a nice big concave of Zerg units. No Fungals on these Infestors. He's got to rely on sheer numbers here. So far, so good, but the Banelings aren't high enough in number to connect with the bio, and Ultra's going to get taken out as well.
Wow.
Good engagement for ByuN.
ByuN takes a 20 army supply lead. What is happening right now? soO getting impatient, engaging on that base before Kindness plating was done. Now he's got his upgrades, but his army, he's bled it out. And even though he's got a big economy, he is on the back foot. And ByuN, he's got the army lead. He's got his own 5th base up behind this. He's still above 60 workers. This is a relatively healthy income. ByuN still has a shot in this game.
He certainly does. In fact, he'd say that he's in a pretty nice spot at the moment here as he continues to press the issue. His bio scanning and getting rid of some of this creep that's been annoying for him all game long. And he has Liberators now as well as siege tanks. And that's going to hit very, very hard against the army here of soO. Does thankfully have those incredibly important Zerg upgrades. He has Adrenal, he has Kindness, he has 3-3.
ByuN did lose a lot of his medevacs earlier in the game, so he's only got 4 right now. Just rebuilt a few, finally starting to heal up his bio. Yeah, that's all. 13 medevacs have gone down this game, 11 siege tanks, so many units on both sides, almost 400 zerglings. It's been an absolute bloodbath, and it's not about to stop anytime soon. ByuN wanting to get on the economy of soO, he is pushing forward. We do still have those two infestors, and they are flanking around the north side of this army. They're coming up there on the top side, along with those ultras, banelings, and hydras looking to flank. However, with so many siege tanks and liberators, will soO be able to break this position?
Oh, scans from ByuN, and the infestors immediately get taken out there. No fumbles to speak of, but will there be enough Zerg anyway? The Ultras closing the distance, it does get taken out. soO coming up with an Ultra Sprang. A few of the tanks go down, the Liberators look like they're going to go down, the Hydras as well. Does ByuN hold, or does soO push through?
soO's units are just so high value, these Ultras just tanking so much. He manages to break the tank and Liberator siege line. At the same time though, ByuN dropping the north side, clears out a mineral line.
What a knife fight here. You thought ZvT was a knife fight. This is intense. So much action, so much blood, so much carnage. Another hatchery looking like it's going to go down here to ByuN's bio.
Wow, he's even going to pick up two of those medevacs. Get on out of there. The top side still bleeding out. That hatchery looks like it's going to fall as well.
Oh man, two hatcheries fall in the span of 20 seconds here, and soO consolidating his forces off creep. He needs to pull back and get those infestors back. He has 3 of them on the way here. ByuN in a lovely spot right now, Pig. How did he get here?
This is insane. ByuN here, making it happen when it counts the most. Does not want to go out here in the quarterfinals. soO's economy has been knocked back into the Stone Age. Guess what? 8 mineral patches on the fourth. He's got 1 mineral patch that just mined out on his third. He's literally only got 1 base mining right now. soO's income is in the dumps.
Absolutely, and we'll see if ByuN can capitalize on this huge army supply advantage, and it looks like he might. He's in a lovely position here. This is so hard for the Zerg to deal with. He doesn't have a flank this time. ByuN just attacking through this choke. A lot of the Zerg getting mincemeated right now by this bio and the tanks as well, and another hatchery in trouble.
Too much Terran on the dance floor.
Yeah.
This is all over. soO looking like he's getting knocked down in game number 3, and this would be a huge up for ByuN. He would only be 1 game away from progressing if he can close this one out. And with a supply like that, with that bio spread on the high ground, I think it is all but over for soO right now.
He has fungals available now, but they are late to the party, Pig. Where were they a while ago? Those infestors getting scanned and taken out, but ByuN was so critical, and he has army to split off here. It looks like he's going to move up to the north. Fungals going down, but still so much Terran left. Not fungled here. He's got another fungal. Ooh, that's a good one. The Ultras coming in for the cuddles, but it doesn't look like that's enough. He just DPSs all the Ultras down, and everything else going to go down with it. GG! ByuN gets to match point in this quarterfinal match.
What an action-packed game there. soO, an absolute sponge, just absorbs attack after attack, gets himself into a great position. But there, that one mistaken engagement, engaging before his key upgrades finished, into that beautiful position from ByuN. That was one of the sickest tank liberator spreads on that ridge. And soO, his army just crashed into it and was not able to break through.
It looked like he had it so many times there, but ByuN staying alive, showing the world that he can play the late game too. It's not just early game and mid game for him. He can do the distance against the world's best Zergs. His TVC is monstrous. It's mastodonic.
And I'm just looking at the graphs from that last game. Yeah, indeed, soO's army value was several thousand resources ahead of ByuN's when that engage happened, but those upgrades just not quite kicking in. The positioning so good, and man, both players impressing me so much.
Yeah.
soO in the early game there did such a good job of just making the Reapers not do that much damage. Remember that beautiful Queen drop, the Zergling drop in the main did so much, but then ByuN in the midst of it was getting those Widow Mine counters in, the double Liberator siege up. He got the damage done on soO. It went back the other direction again when soO shut down a few drops. It was just action which we're not used to seeing, players playing so fast and both players coming back from deficits.
That's absolutely right, and we are going to go into sequencer for the 4th map here. Will ByuN get a 3-1 victory, or will soO tie it up? It looks like we are going to get into things with a pretty familiar opening here, Pig.
Yeah, it's gonna be once again here on Sequencer, going in a fantastic map for one of the favorite strategies we've been seeing a lot. ByuN up 2-1 up against soO there on the right. Let's go into map number 4.
In the bottom left, currently on watch point, this is the reigning champ. It is ByuN.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Reapers for life. And this guy, of course, up here, he's been doing a fantastic job against it so far. but here on this map, it will present a unique challenge. Will he be able to stand up to it? In the red, it is soO.
This tournament matters so much. Specifically for ByuN, he's on the precipice of that top 8 in points. As currently stands, the reigning world champ may not be at BlizzCon. This tournament is so important for him. He needs this quarterfinal win. He needs a semi-final win to get all the way to the end. Would be fantastic, but just not a whole lot of chances left for these Korean players that are just on the edge of that top 8 pick.
Exactly. soO, of course, being the runner-up of Season 1 of GSL, is in a fantastic position to make it through to BlizzCon, all but assured at this point. ByuN, on the other hand, it is so important to him, not just here for the Intel Extreme Masters, but for those ever valuable points for the global playoffs. We're going to have to see how it goes. Sequencer, of course, a very long rush distance. These Reapers are going to take a while to get across, but there's so many ledges, so many choke points. This map, I remember when it first came out, even weeks after it came out, every pro gamer said it was just a crazy map to play. They couldn't wrap their heads around it because movement on this map, engagements, are so different to anything else.
And this map can become incredible for Zerg once those rocks get taken out as well. If you start clearing up these rocks, you start getting all counterattack and every single path available. You basically have a big, open, featureless ground, a plain for the Zerglings to run free, and it becomes tougher and tougher for the Terran to find good engagement spots. Terrans want choke points. They want ledges. Zerg wants wide open spaces for big surrounds and concaves.
Spot on, and indeed that's how this map plays out. If the Terran can keep the pressure up, Zerg never gets the time to take those rocks down. That's what ByuN will be aiming to do here. Just keep the pressure on. First Reaper already bruising these Zerglings, but great micro from soO, pulling back the weakened ones to the rear, and the Queen pops out, and that can shoo that Reaper away. Of course, a Reaper on its own, not much of a match for a Queen, but as that Reaper count grows, as they start to use those KD8 charges, those little grenades to bounce the Queens around, that's where they get out of control.
Yeah, it is exponential, the amount of damage they can output when they start to get up there in number. And ByuN getting a spotting, a supply depot as he tends to do. He usually drops it in the main on maps like Abyssal and obviously on Odyssey as well, just in case there's counter, Overlord drop play, which soO has been doing as a reaction to 3-Rax Reaper. And he's getting the Evo Chamber again, so he may very well do it again. Although with the rush distance of this map, it's very tough to get his Zerglings over there undetected.
You know, I probably should have talked about this a little bit earlier since we've seen it so many times, but one of the big reasons why we're seeing carapace against this is because as the Reaper count grows, you want something to limit their damage. Because they have 2 attacks, which each only do 4 damage, your armor modifier counts twice against that. So with your carapace upgrade, you're effectively knocking 2 damage off the Reaper. It takes down about 25% of their total damage output. Of course, the grenades are still a big problem, but it goes a long way to slowing down and softening the impact of these Reapers.
Hey, a really good point there. Good analysis from Pig. Once again, the Pig Daily, every day of the week.
Thanks to the plugs, man. What would I do without you?
You're right, mate. I'm a big fan of your show. The Ling's going for a run through the middle here, trying to circumnavigate those Reapers and remain undetected. Maybe go for a surround from behind, catch ByuN while he's away from a ledge so he can't escape.
Those Zerglings, they'd love to wrap around these Reapers.
They're taking their time, though. That's a hatchery denial.
Oh, man. And now he's still going to go for it, but he's kind of headbutting into these grenades a little bit. Perfect grenades. Wow. And all those Zerglings, they're just too wounded now. They can't really fight these Reapers. The Reapers here, oh man, they are being very ballsy right now.
Oh,
massive!
Grenades! ByuN showing he's the master of Reapers here. Going towards the cliff, but he may not even need it. These Zerglings are so low damage that he just kills them all.
Man. Carapace not yet finished. Those Zerglings getting blasted apart. The Reapers, so many in the red. The Queen's desperately trying to come. He gets another cancel on the 3rd. Everything is falling apart for soO right now. ByuN's Reapers getting out of control, finding so much damage.
They are indeed, and the Reapers that ByuN normally leaves at home for a counterattack are coming to join in. I think ByuN smells like he might get an easy victory here, Pig, just with the Reaper numbers.
He's getting out of control, that's for sure. In the previous games, ByuN has been on equal workers with the Zerg pretty much the whole time. This time, he's already up 5 workers, and that is telling. That shows the advantage he's gotten by canceling that hatchery twice. He is getting an economy advantage. He's still massing the Reapers. These Zerglings, they'd love to engage, but the grenades just zoning them out far too well. Finally, a slow Overlord going to start elevatoring over. Might get a cancel on the 3rd base. That would be a good start to getting soO back into this game.
Yeah, they might do more than that if they get him through behind that wall and then get into the main.
Surely soO needs to flank at this point. He's got to split these Zerglings up. He can't just keep running in from one angle like this. I feel like he's being a little bit too stubborn right now with how he's doing this.
I tend to agree. These Reapers just are getting harder and harder to deal with as time goes on. This hatchery is so low. Even when it finishes, this may be a kill.
He's got to split those Zerglings around the left. He's finally doing it now, but I think it's too late. Those Reapers just going to start to back off. It's going to be very hard to corner them now.
Look at how low that hatchery is as we get into the late game, to the mid game as well. There's a surround here. Looks like some of the Reapers are going to go out. 2 of them go down. soO does have a surround with the Lings on the top and on the bottom. KDA grenades going down as well. And the Reapers will eventually die.
Man, those grenades, those grenades. No. Oh my God, it's a bloodbath.
And he has Reapers in the main. He does have a force back here to deflect, and he beats back the Lings here of soO. ByuN's only deficit right now is he's dealing with a supply block, but he's taking very minimal damage.
I wish I could vocalize it right now. I'm literally just gobstruck. My mouth was just hanging open for a few seconds. I haven't seen so many Zerglings die to the first amount of Reapers ever. That was insane, choosing to headbutt into that location. I think soO's just lost his patience here. 84 Zerglings for just 7 Reapers. He's going to get a couple reactors there. That's a nice pickup. But man, soO, it's going to be a long road to recovery this game. He has been bruised and battered already in the first 7 minutes of this game.
You're absolutely right. Some of the Reapers still alive. I mean, and they're not that huge, scary number anymore, but they are still alive, and they're still being annoying for soO. And the Terran ahead on workers, equal and bases is devastating for the Zerg. Can't express how bad this is for soO right now.
Yeah, I mean, these Zerglings, soO's doing everything he can with them, but really, is it even worth his APM at this point? He's got so...
Oh, no.
Oh, man, Reapers in the base once again. And it is indeed an oh-no moment for soO right now, as these Zerglings, they're going to try to get in there. Yeah, once again, eating grenades to the face. The medevacs pick up the Reapers, many of them on red life, and gets them on out of there.
And they will heal up, of course. soO's got 2 Lings in the main randomly here. I mean, Marines are just going to take them out as they run past, and the Widowmine drop with some Marine support as well in the third base. soO not reacting.
Oh, wow, another 4 drones. Those other Marines going to drop in the back of the natural. Those Reapers still below the main base, just waiting to do their business. At the moment, soO is distracted, and indeed, soO's distracted. The Reapers jump back into the main, and here we go once again.
And with medevac support, they can engage these Queens directly, and they will. One of the Queens nearly going down, but not quite. Transfusion keeping them alive. A bunch of Lings dying there to the KDA grenades, and ByuN keeping the medevacs alive as well. It looks like one of them maybe gets taken out. Oh, no, another Widowmine shot.
Man, these Widowmine just keep being so powerful. ByuN constantly finding the openings and the little areas where soO isn't watching. A Liberator going to queue up on that base as well. That third base is so wounded.
No Spore, no Queen.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, dude, seriously, though, soO is in so much trouble. Double Liberators on his base as Queens. Down here engaging the Reapers. The Reapers take the Queens out. There's no anti-air left.
That's it.
That is it.
I think ByuN's just won this game, Pig. GG! And he is going to go to the semi-finals. His BlizzCon hopes remaining alive.
Tasteless was so excited by that match. We heard him shout GG all the way from Korea. And what an impressive play there from ByuN. Going back to what has given him his biggest victories historically. Amazing micro, amazing aggression, and a hell of a lot of Reapers.
Yeah, I mean, that game was bloody, it was aggressive, but a little bit underwhelming compared to the other few games that we saw. This series was so close, so amazing, such high-level play, but soO just falling apart in the end there. ByuN with that well-earned fist pump on stage. He is so happy here.
I don't think many of the experts expected ByuN to take down soO here in this match, but he did. He managed to do it. Defied expectation, and he managed to break through. soO showing incredible defense, both on Abyssal Reef and Odyssey especially, but in the end does fall 1-3. And the most consistent Zerg player this year, knocked out by ByuN.
Yeah, unfortunate for soO. A lot of people expected him to go forward there. Look at that. More like ByuN stoppable. He cannot be held. People keep calling him washed up, and then he keeps performing on stage, Pig. What can I say?
It's such good play from him. There is a reason he is still ranked the #1 best player in the world on Aligulac on the stats website, which we tend to look at. And it's because he's damn good at this game, and he can still beat absolutely anyone, and especially here in this matchup. And when he finds a way to dictate the pace of the game, when he is the one attacking, being aggressive, he will always find a way to show us that beautiful flair that we love him for.
Absolutely right. Oh man, what a beautiful day of games it's been. The quarterfinals have wrapped up here. All of our best of fives are done. And we are going to go for a winner's interview with ByuN and then close off the stream for the day. Guys, we'll see you then.
All matches of the day 3 quarters have finally come to an end. And completing the semi-finalists and standing alongside me is ByuN. ByuN 선수 일단 8강 진출 축하드리긴 하는데요. 3병을 사신 말고는 할 줄 아시는 게 없으십니까? 제가 졸아버렸거든요. ByuN, congratulations for advancing into the semi-finals, but do you not know anything else other than 3 Barracks Reaper? Because I was about to fall asleep.
네, 제가 작년부터 3병 사신만 써왔기 때문에 이제 와서 빌드를 바꾸기에는 너무 리스크가 커가지고 계속 쓰고 있긴 한데 이제 3병 사신이 너프가 예정되어 있어요. 그래서 너프 되기 전에 끝까지 빨아먹으려고 썼습니다.
The 3 Barracks Reaper was my go-to build since last year, and I have an inside source that 3 Barracks Reaper is going to get nerfed soon. So until that moment, I'm going to be milking that build out as long as I can to the last drop. 자, 그리고 ByuN 선수. 일단 ByuN 선수 게임하는 거 보니까 지금 뭔가 저그전에 대한 메타가 있어서 4필승이고 사신을 쓰고 약간 흥하면 운영으로 가서 무조건 테란을 이길 수 있다 마인드인 것 같은데 그게 제가 제대로 본 게 맞는지 여쭤보고 싶네요. First of all, after seeing you play versus Zerg, it looks like if you can get ahead by even an inch against Zerg using Reapers ahead, then it looks like it's like an easy, nice cruise throughout the end of the game just through macros.
저 일단 지금 테란 대 저그전 밸런스는 테란이 좀 더 우세하다고 생각하기 때문에 근데 제가 화염차를 쓰면 이상하게 못 이기겠더라고요. 근데 다른 선수들은 화염차 쓰고도 잘 이기는데 저는 사신에 그러니까 이미 적응이 돼버려서 다른 걸 쓰기에는 좀 그렇고 전 사신이 잡혀도 그 항상 해왔던 그 트리거가 있거든요. 그 빌드가 있는데 그래서 사신 잡혀도 상관없다는 마인드로 했는데 뭐 오늘은 좀 괜찮게 잘 된 것 같아요.
You know, I have a thing with Reapers where it's just, you know, I go with it, and I've been using Reapers versus Zerg so many times. There's triggers in the moments where I feel like, okay, if this is what Zerg does, then this is what I'm gonna do. There's always a follow-up steps all the way through my macros. So, you know, it just worked out today exceptionally well, even to my opinion. And overall, I think Terran has a bit of an upper hand against Zerg. I know a lot of the other Terrans are using Hellions, they're doing a bunch of different things, but it doesn't work for me as well as Reapers do for me. 자, 그럼 마지막으로 어윤수 선수가 어제 8강 진출하면서 인터뷰를 할 때 이병렬 선수가 어윤수 선수한테 고집 세다 그러고 이러고 나서 올라와라. 내가 밟아주겠다 이런 얘기도 했고 사실 어제 조성주 선수 생일이어가지고 생일 축하 노래도 불러주려고 그랬는데 둘 다 변현 선수가 다 잘라 먹어버렸거든요. Yesterday, Rogue evaluated soO on his ZvT playstyle, how he's stubborn and everything. soO said, all right, Rogue, then bro, you come up, you're gonna face me in the semis, I'm gonna crush you. And actually yesterday was Maru's birthday, got their birthday song, but ByuN was the guy that killed both of the events.
그런 건 저랑 전혀 상관없고 저도 개인적으로 이병렬 선수한테 복수할 게 있기 때문에 이 상하이 IEM 예선에서 제가 이병렬 선수한테 져서 좀 힘들게 올라왔거든요. 그래서 저도 제 복수를 하고 싶네요.
No, those two events has nothing to do with me. I also have a bit of payback for me to do against Rogue because Rogue is the one that actually put me in this tough position. So tomorrow's going to be interesting. Watch out, Rogue, for all the payback. Thank you very much, ByuN 선수. And to those of you that are watching, thank you very much for tuning in to the post-game interviews. I hope you enjoyed it. Now wrap it up for me, experts.
Thanks, Mal. I like the new hat. Okay, so there we have it. soO is taken out before the finals via lots of Reaper play. And I mean, especially that last game on Sequencer, I mean, those Reapers were out of control. When they were in that little choke, he just sits there and kills all the lings. Oh my God.
Apparently, when you play against ByuN, you've got one map where you're kind of safe.
Yeah.
That's if he doesn't 2-racks, and that's Proxima. Other than that, all other maps are pretty good for Reapers. After game 2, actually, after we spoke, I went backstage, sat next to Innovation. I was like, who's going to win? He's like, ByuN. I'm like, Reapers? He's like, yeah, 3-1. And he was right. Like, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
ByuN is quite a monster with those Reapers, and for Rogue to be able to beat him tomorrow, I feel like it's going to take something special.
That's true, but I mean, and there was points on Abyssal Reef in map number 3 where soO was looking as though he was going to be the player to take it. I mean, I actually thought ByuN was very dead, and then soO sort of attacked a little bit before the Titaness playing. He maybe should have just let the base go instead of engaging, and then suddenly it was out of control, and ByuN took advantage to get back in the game. So it's not impossible to beat ByuN when he goes Reaper's openings, but then you have to be on top of everything.
Truthfully, I think that soO played fantastically, which does get me a little bit worried for Rogue going into tomorrow because I couldn't find too many things. Like, I definitely agree with you there that maybe he overextended with that one attack, but at the end of the day, it was good Zerg versus Terran play. Maybe ByuN is just going to make a run to the finals here.
Yeah, I mean, we meme, you know, that soO is supposed to make the finals and then lose, but at the end of the day, Rogue is a monster.
Yeah.
He's rank 1 on ladder, we mentioned many times, which is so important. Like, these two guys, they play so much ladder. I'm sure Rogue meets ByuN all the time. If he's rank 1 and ByuN is not, guess who wins in those times that they meet?
That's a very good point. Like, if you're rank 1 on Korean ladder, I mean, most of the accounts right below you are ByuN. So you had to play him a bunch of times to get there, no doubt.
At least 3 or 4 of them, yeah. And ByuN did say there was some payback he wanted to give to Rogue there, so there's going to be a bit of a grudge match. And really happy we got all 3 races featured there. Good job, David Kim.
His ghost lives on, man. Like, this is happening in basically every tournament all the time. We just always are getting a good mixture of races up there. Despite only 3 Protoss making it into the tournament, Hero makes it to that round of 4. And what do you think about that match, in fact, Wardy? TY versus Hero.
TY Hero is actually really interesting because I really was liking TY's chances on the upside of the bracket, but I just did some research, and actually TY has not won a series against Hero. He's only won best of 1s, ever.
Oh my God.
Oh, too bad he's going to 3-0 him tomorrow.
You say that, but he got 3-0'd the last 2 times they met, and that's within the last 3 months. GSL Super Tournament and also a little bit more recently somewhere else.
Who cares?
No. Jeez.
No, I really feel like TY right now is super hot, and he's definitely the... I'm saving my pep talk to ByuN for the finals, TY against ByuN.
TY
just putting it out there right now.
Really? Ooh, because I think it's going to be Hero versus Rogue.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, well, anyways, you look at it, this is just a silly good bracket. I can't believe the games that we've had so far here this weekend at Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai. If you guys have to choose right now, what is the match tomorrow to watch?
Honestly, All of them. Are you kidding me or what? Look at that bracket. Like we've got all 3 races represented. Hero, he plays so well today. Like it's really hard to say that TY is the favorite, but I mean TY, he's already won over 300,000 this year. This year alone, he might go from being, you know, not even that high on the earnings list, on his sports earnings. He had, I think, at the start of the year, 111,000, something like that, to potentially making over 600,000 if he wins the global finals, if he wins these tournaments, if he keeps on winning the way he's been doing it.
Is esportsearnings.com your homepage, Todd? I'm just...
It's my wallpaper, my homepage.
Your wallpaper.
And it's everything to me.
Right, well, that's as good a place as any to stop this show. This has been another wonderful day here in Shanghai. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow, same time, same place, for the round of 4 and finals. We'll see you then.
Every single time I hear you say, if I run, I will not crash, I will not fall from first to last, till nothing's left inside, I will not lead you down a broken path.